listening to the Digitally Irresistible podcast, where we cover the optimization of digital technologies and irresistible people. Brought to you by iQor. Each episode features someone who sheds a little more light on the ins and outs of delivering a great employee and customer experience that has a measurable impact on the business. And now, here's today's guest. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Digitally Irresistible podcast. I'm your host, Bernie Borges. Today's guest is Zion Joy Suvillaga. Welcome, Zion.
Hi, Bernie. I'm so happy to be here. You may call me Z. Everyone in my team calls me Z.
Z. All right. Z it is. And I'm glad you're here as well, Z. Thank you so much. You know, Z, in your role as a project manager in human resources at iQor in the Philippines, your work has the potential to impact more than 30,000 employees. Now, you recently won an iQor Hero Award. Congratulations. And on this episode, I want you to share how you became a project manager in human resources with no background in HR and how you won the Hero Award. But first, as always, let's begin with your introduction. Why don't you tell us about your current role at iQor and when you started?
I'm currently an HR project manager supporting the whole Philippines. And I started in my current role last December, fairly recently, actually, last December 2021. And I handle all HR processes for the whole Philippines.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds like a big responsibility. Why don't you tell us more about that? Because that is a big responsibility. You know, you mentioned that you handle it all for 30,000 employees. So give us a little more detail. What's involved in being a project manager in HR in the Philippines?
Yes, Bernie, as you have mentioned, it's actually a great responsibility. Just to give you an overview, we have almost 32,000 employees right now. So my main task includes business process documentation and transformation. Is really an end-to-end process from the moment that we source employees, we hire employees, their development and retention up to offboarding if necessary. And I also manage all HR driven initiatives that might impact the tools that we are using for HR Philippines.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of process. It sounds like a lot of, HR stuff. Tell me, what do you find so interesting about it, Z?
I really love what I'm doing right now because, as we earlier stated, I get to impact the lives and the experience of all of our employees, regardless of level. I also get the chance to create change to improve all of their experiences while they are with iQor. I also get exposed to different departments and I get to understand how they come together to achieve common goals.
I like that last point that you made. The fact that you get to work and interact with so many other departments, that's got to be a really interesting and fun part of your job. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
You mentioned that you've only been in this role a few months, since December 2021. So in your previous role, that was not an HR role. Why don't you tell us about that role?
I actually started with iQor in October 2020 as just a seasonal employee. And then I became a full time employee in January of 2021. And I became part of analytics and audit readiness team in April of 2021. That team is comprised of 3 data driven people, and I'm one of them. We are tasked with creating process flows to really guide everybody on how we go about processes involving HR. And we were able to lay down the foundation for the HR reporting structure as well. But in December 2021, that team was dissolved. So I mentioned earlier, there are 3 of us. One, when the team was dissolved, one was offered a role in IT, and then one became an HR manager, and then I was promoted to a project manager. That's why I'm here.
Optimize your customer experience through digital transformation with iQor. From robotic process automation to conversational AI, we're leading the way in digital CX. Smile with iQor. Learn more at iQor.com. You were promoted to your current role, project manager in HR.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, Z, you told me before our recording today that you previously had no experience in HR. Yet, after this role, you were offered your current role to be a project manager in HR without any experience in HR. So, how did that happen? What do you attribute that to?
Indeed, Bernie. Prior to iQor, really no company gave me an opportunity to join HR because I do not have any credentials or any experience, any background at all in HR. But when I joined iQor, I was exposed to these really, really amazing and awesome leaders who were very supportive. They were not looking for a perfect employee or a perfect candidate, but they were more particular with the potential of employees. And they have this leadership attitude that is to develop people with potential. So, we have this line here in iCore that says, be more with iCore. It's not just there for the sake of being there. It's really because we have leaders who will guide us to be more while we are with iCore. I'd like to also share this quote from Mark Twain. He said that the truly great people are those who make you feel that you too can become great. And that's the type of leaders that I have been exposed to here in iCor, whether my direct supervisor, my senior HR director, Wilbur Gadicho for the whole HR Philippines, or whether our leaders from the stakeholders part, that will be the training department, the recruiting department, and the operations team. All of the leaders that I had interacted with were very supportive, truly a testament to our Icorian values. And I think that has been very instrumental to my personal growth here in the company.
That's fantastic. As you're explaining that, as you're sort of describing the scenario that you're in and the opportunity that you've been given, in spite of the fact that you didn't have background in HR, I would think that that's been an inspiration to others. And I want to get your thought on that. I mean, what kind of an inspiration do you think your progression into this role has been to others around you?
From my personal background, I just came from a very unknown city here in the Philippines. And when I moved to the city, I did not really have any connections or I did not know anyone at all. But with hard work and with the proper guidance of these amazing leaders, with proper goal setting during our one on one sessions, really guiding me on what problems are we trying to solve and how are we going to go about and solving them. This has really been an inspiration as well to other people that you keep doing what you need to do and every small task that you are given, just do the right thing, maintain integrity at all times, and you will surely get to where you would want to be.
That's fantastic. And as you said a moment ago, that the slogan that we use, "Be more with iCore," I think you're a living, breathing example of that. And it's not just a slogan; it's something that it's one of our core values. And so, again, you're a great example of that. Let's get to the iCore Hero Award. Congratulations for that. Tell us, what is the award, and specifically, what is the project that you worked on that qualified you to win that distinction?
Let me tell you a funny story about that iCor Hero Award. I really did not have any idea at all that I will be awarded this certain award. My senior director, Sir Wilbur, just told me the day before the awarding ceremony, make sure that you will be camera ready tomorrow. Don't ask me why, just be there. I'll send you the link to join. And then when I joined, I really did not have any idea that this is about an awarding ceremony. And then when I joined and my name was called, I felt like I won the Miss Universe award. I was really, really surprised, Bernie. And I was, we had to turn our camera on. I was holding back tears because the CEOs were there, all of the VPs were there. And then I had to hold back the tears. And when it was time to turn my camera off, I actually cried buckets because I really could not believe that I won that award. As I mentioned earlier, all I did was really to um, excel in no matter how small the task is assigned to me, big or small, just do your best. And one particular reason that was mentioned during the awarding ceremony is that I was very instrumental in addressing a new government mandate that was issued here in the Philippines. And that mandate really required us to plan and make sure that we are compliant to that government mandate. We were able to, as part of the analytics team during that time, we were able to determine how that mandate is going to impact the current headcount that we have, 30,000 plus employees. We had to collaborate with different departments, including IT, in order to prepare and to identify how we can use the current data that we have in order to be audit ready for that specific government mandate.
Fantastic. Well, Z, it sounds to me like that hero award was well deserved. So congratulations for that.
Thank you, Bernie.
I'm really impressed with how you've progressed in just a short amount of time. You mentioned a little while ago that you were just a temporary employee. And I'm not a fan of the word just because even though you were temporary, you weren't just a temporary employee. You were absolutely someone that was part of the team, albeit at that time temporary. Of course, you were afforded the opportunity to join iQor in a full time capacity. I'm thrilled that you were and that you're here. I know that your team is thrilled with that as well. And I want to congratulate you for the success that you're having in such a short amount of time. And I look forward to your continued success. And now I want to get to what we call the fun question, Z. And I think you know what that is. We always like to end these podcast conversations with the question, what do you like to do for fun when you're not working?
We're in the middle of the pandemic, but actually, long before we practiced social distancing, I have been practicing that already since I am an introvert. It may not look like that because I have this really outgoing personality and I interact with multiple people all the time. But as an introvert, my way to recharge is really to have my me time and alone time. So during my free time, I would just stay at home, spend some time with my cats. I have a lot, by the way. I almost lost count already how many I have because my partner and I would rescue cats that we find on the streets just to give them, rehabilitate them, and to make sure that they have a new home that can really give them the care that they need. I also like to read books and I love music. Music is a very, very important part of my everyday life. I like watching Disney movies and musicals. So that's how I spend my time outside of work.
Fantastic. Well, I haven't noticed any cats in the background here, so you must do a very good job of keeping them outside of your camera ready situation. So that's
Yes,
fantastic.
yes.
And it's really one of the things that I enjoy about these interviews is that I never know what your answer is going to be to that question, the fun question. So that's great. That one took me by surprise a little bit, and I'm enjoying it. So thank you for sharing that. And being a reader is certainly a great way to also enjoy. And you mentioned about being an introvert. I think a lot of us can admit to being an introvert, even as you say, even though we're here on camera doing what we're doing, we can still be introverted, whether it's 100% or just a part of us. And recognizing that and being self-aware and then finding ways to fulfill that, that's what it's all about. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your story. Again, as I said earlier, you're an inspiration. You've accomplished so much in a short amount of time and look forward so much to seeing your continued accomplishments here at iQor. Thank you, Z.
Thank you as well, Bernie. It's an honor and a privilege to share my iCore story here in this platform.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Digitally Irresistible podcast, where we cover the optimization of digital technologies and irresistible people, delivering a great employee and customer experience that has a measurable impact on the business. Brought to you by iQor. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast player so you don't miss future episodes.